Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class from Canto 3, Chapter 2, and text number 26. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava kunjabihari gopi janavallabha girivadadari gopi janavallabha girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Om Vishnu Pad Paramhansa Parivajakachaja Stotra Satasi Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Lipa Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Paramhansa Parivajakachaja Stotra Satasi Srimada's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Nama Charja Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Charger Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Siva Shari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shami Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glory Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tira Swami Nityanamini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddhartha Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Nityanamini Narayana Namaskritya Narunchevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Prayesva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Uttamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna Hare devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2. This morning we're doing text number 26. Hare Krishna. Tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ, pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā, ekādaśa samās tatra, gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat. tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ, pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā, ekādaśa samās tatra, gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat, tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ, pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā, ekādaśa samās tatra, gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat. Hare Krishna.
tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā ekādaśa samās tatra gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā ekādaśa samās tatra gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Tato nanda-vrajam itaḥ pitrā kaṁsād vibibhyatā ekādaśa samās tatra gūḍhārciḥ sa-balo vasat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay. We'll do word for word. Hang on a second, devotees. I'm just a little bit frazzled with what's happened. Hare Krishna. So I have to find my. Okay. 226. All right. So, word for word. Tatra. Thereafter, nanda-vrajam, cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj. Itaḥ, being brought up. Pitrā, by his father. Kaṁsād, from Kaṁsa. Vibibhyatā, being afraid of. ekādaśa, 11. Samās, years. Tatra, therein. gūḍhārciḥ, covered fire. sa-balo, with Baladeva. Vasat, resided. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, his father, being afraid of Kaṁsa, brought him to the cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj, and there he lived for 11 years, like a covered flame, with his elder brother Baladeva. Report by Srila Prabhupada. There was no necessity of the Lord's being dispatched to the house of Nanda Maharaj out of fear of Kaṁsa's determination to kill him as soon as he appeared. It is the business of the asuras to try to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to prove by all means that there is no God, or that God is an ordinary human being and not God. Lord Krishna is not affected by such determination of men of Kaṁsa's class. But in order to play the role of a child, he agreed to be carried by his father to the cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj because Vasudeva was afraid of Kaṁsa. Nanda Maharaj was due to receive him as a child, and Yashoda was also to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord. And therefore, to fulfill everyone's desire, he was carried from Mathura to Vrindavan just after his appearance in the prison house of Kaṁsa. He lived there for 11 years and completed all his fascinating pastimes of childhood, boyhood, and adolescence with his elder brother, Lord Baladeva, his first expansion. Vasudeva thought of protecting Krishna from the wrath of Kaṁsa is part of a transcendental relationship. The Lord enjoys more when someone takes him as his subordinate son, who needs the protection of a father than he does when someone accepts him as a Supreme Lord. He is the father of everyone, and he protects everyone. But when his devotee takes it for granted that the Lord is to be protected by the devotee's care, it is a transcendental joy for the Lord. Thus, when Vasudeva, out of fear of Kaṁsa, carried him to Vrindavan, the Lord enjoyed it. Otherwise, he had no fear for Kaṁsa or anyone else. Om Gnati Virandasya, Jnana Gna Shalakaya, Chakshu Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschathyadi Sitarini. Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurachise Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. English translation again. Thereafter his father, being afraid of Kaṁsa, brought him to the cow pastures of Mahārāja Nanda. And there he lived for 11 years like a covered flame with his elder brother, Baladeva. Hare Krishna. So a little backstory. First, who is speaking? That's Uddhava, a close associate of Krishna, a friend of Krishna. And this is Uddhava talking about Krishna from the beginning when Krishna appeared in this earth this last time about 5,000 years ago. So it happened because one, Krishna by his own will can decide to appear within his pure devotees, those who love him 100%. So Devaki and Vasudeva, Devaki the wife, Vasudeva the husband, were chosen as the ones by Krishna that Krishna himself would appear in, and the land that he appeared in was Mathura. But before that, when Vasudeva and Devaki were married, on that day of the marriage, the wedding, when Vasudeva was taking his wife home, there was a voice from the sky that told Kaṁsa is related to the wife, related to Devaki. And he was also the king of Mathura. In fact, it was a demon that had taken Mathura by force and kicked out the king, who was supposed to be his father. So Kaṁsa is an evil person. But that day, because he, and people do politics like that, and Kaṁsa is no different, he had maneuvered this whole point about the marriage taking place, because Vasudeva already had a wife, but had wives. But still, Kaṁsa wanted Vasudeva to marry Devaki because of Devaki's relationship with Kaṁsa. So, but then Krishna had his own plans. Kaṁsa is a demon. He's become the king. He's taken over the king, literally. In our modern language, you can call it a coup d'etat. And now he was just, controlling and brutalizing some people and controlling others too that were fearful. You have to be fearful not to be brutalized by him. If you stood up to him, it would cost you your life. Kaṁsa decided that he was going to drive the chariot to bring Devaki and Vasudeva home to Vasudeva's house. But on the way, with all the celebrations,
Hare Krishna. Is
Hare
anyone else
Krishna.
able to
Yeah,
hear?
yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, bro. Yes, yes. You're back.
Yeah, yeah. It got off. You may not see my. But let me ask you: do you see my face also in there?
No.
Okay. We'll have to fix that later on. But yeah, something happened in the middle of this.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's okay. It switched to my. I made my cell phone the co-host, so
Yes.
it made it the host. So now I'm speaking through the cell phone to you guys. Technology.
We
All
can hear
right.
you, bro. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Kaṁsa got very upset, and he was about to kill his sister Devaki, but then this the husband convinced him that listen, it's the child, the eighth child. He said was going to kill you. I will bring all my children to you. You do whatever you want with them. Everybody is shocked that Kaṁsa is getting ready to kill his own sister. In the wedding date, after the wedding date, they're taking the bride to the bridegroom's house. So anyway, Kaṁsa decided first he let them go and with the promise that all the children would be given to Kaṁsa when they were born. But he changed his mind and then took the couple and this time imprisoned them. So when the eighth son was born, and the eighth son was Krishna. Kaṁsa had already killed the first six babies, just murdered them cold blood, throwing them against the wall, dashing them on the ground, and killing them immediately. Mm. So Vasudeva thought that this eighth child of Kaṁsa was also, eighth child from them was also going to be killed by Kaṁsa. That's why this translation said, thereafter, his father being afraid of Kaṁsa, his father means Vasudeva. Vasudeva brought him to the cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj. So even though they were in prison, Krishna told them that they should actually take him. He told Vasudeva, take me to Gokul. And Krishna, of course, he's a controller, everything. There's nothing he can't do. He's a supreme yogi. He caused all the jail gates to be open and all the guards to sleep deeply. And then Vasudeva took Krishna and walked right out of the palace and to cross the Jamuna River and went to Gokul that night and gave Krishna to his friend Nanda Maharaj and his Nanda Maharaj's wife Yashoda. So that's where Krishna went. Balaram was already there, but that was a different way in which we won't go into detail of that. He's also there. His elder brother, Krishna's elder brother. Again, by his own will, these devotees of the Lord take place. I mean, they get they assume different roles to relate to Krishna. So that's the situation. Uddhava is explaining Vasudeva, who was a father, played the role of a father of Krishna, was afraid of what Kaṁsa had done. So he didn't want the same thing to happen to Krishna. The eighth child had been predicted to Kaṁsa that he would be the cause of Kaṁsa's death. So now Krishna has arranged. He's been taken out of the jail by Vasudeva, and now he's been taken to Nanda Maharaj's house. So nobody knew what had happened. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so in the purport, or as it says in the translation also, so Krishna lived there for 11 years. He displayed all pastimes there in Gokul, away from Mathura, away from Kaṁsa. And Kaṁsa did not know who it was that was going to kill him. He didn't even get to see the eighth child at all. There was no necessity of the Lord being dispatched to the house of Nanda Maharaj out of fear of Kaṁsa's determination to kill him as soon as he appeared. That is the very first sentence that Srila Prabhupada said in this purport, this commentary. There was no necessity of the Lord being dispatched to the house of Nanda Maharaj because Krishna is the supreme controller. And as supreme controller, see if I can get some. video with this. Okay. See. Yeah. So as supreme controller, Krishna himself didn't fear anybody. He can kill anybody he wants. In fact, Krishna is above the law. Mm. So he does whatever he wants to do. He doesn't have to fear any soul. But this case, trying to situate this. Okay. So in this case, Krishna has turned this whole thing like to a pastime. Mm? Literally having fun, this whole situation. So why is Krishna being taken to a different place to get away from Kaṁsa? Because it was Vasudeva, the father, that was afraid of Kaṁsa, not Krishna being afraid of Kaṁsa. Later on, it's explained when he was in Gokul and then Vrindavan, Krishna killed Putana and Shakatasura. These two demons, demoness Putana and the demon Shakatasura. At that time, Krishna hadn't even begun to walk. A baby in his crib and still killed Putana and Shakatasura. So it really would have been a piece of cake for Krishna to kill Kaṁsa in the jail if he wanted to. Or he could have decided to appear somewhere else outside of Kaṁsa's jail. So everything was being orchestrated as just his own pastime. Everything was being associated, played out based on Krishna's will. That we have to make clear. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, there was no necessity of the Lord being dispatched to the house of Nanda Maharaj out of fear of Kaṁsa's determination to kill him as soon as he appeared. Because Kaṁsa himself could have been killed even by baby Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada explains now that it is the business of asuras to try to kill the personality of Godhead, or to prove by all means that there is no God, or that Krishna is an ordinary human being and not God. In other words, demons always like power, and Krishna is the most powerful, and therefore demons always scheme, they plan to take Krishna's position. And that's why they say, oh, there's no God, or yes, you heard about Krishna, but he's just like us. You look at him, he's got 2 legs, 2 hands, just like we have 2 legs, 2 hands. He's handsome, so not a big deal. And he does some things that are kind of fascinating, but the magicians can do that to anything for these demons, the asuras, to try to put down the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his reputation, his power, or sometimes even his ability, because they want to be the one in the center. They want everybody to believe that the demons, that they are the greatest. They like that. So Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, he's not affected by such determination of men of Kaṁsa's class. Determined to do all kinds of craziness, like, he was determined to kill this 8th child of Vasudeva and Devaki, who happens to be Krishna. Krishna himself wanted to come as an 8th child. And Kaṁsa was determined to kill him. Krishna is not affected by this, but in order to play the role of a child, Krishna himself wanted to play the role of a child. Then he agreed to be carried by his father to the cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul. Because Krishna's father, the one who came through to this earth, or Vasudeva, he was the one afraid of Kaṁsa. So Srila Prabhupada also makes the point that, in one sense, Nanda Maharaj was destined to receive Krishna as his child, and Yashodamai, Nanda Maharaj's wife, was also supposed to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord. So to fulfill everyone's desire, then Krishna allowed himself to be carried from Mathura to Vrindavan just after he appeared in the prison house of Kaṁsa. So Nanda Maharaj was to receive Krishna as a child, and Yashodamai was to be the mother, play that role, and see to the raising of Krishna and all the pastimes of the child, all the way up to adolescence, was to be done with Yashodamai playing the role of a mother. So Krishna lived there, Vrindavan, for 11 years and completed all these different fascinating pastimes. Sometimes he enthused the devotees. Paritana sadunam vinashaya chaduskritam. Both of them were happening, exciting the devotees and also annihilating the demons. As we said, the first one was Putana. He was a demoness, and he was killed. He's a good 12 miles tall, and he was killed by Krishna, baby Krishna. And then, as I mentioned, also Shakatatura, the cart demon. Krishna was lying in the cart. This demon got in trying to kill Krishna. And then Krishna kicked the cart and broke the cart with his little dainty foot. He was just a baby still. He hadn't even learned to walk. He wasn't even crawling then, I don't think. Still, in that process of destroying the cart, he killed the demon also. Shakatasura. Anyway, so Krishna lived there in Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, for 11 years and completed all of these pastimes, childhood, boyhood, adolescence, all of that. And when there was some hint given to Kaṁsa that maybe that child that is supposed to kill you is the one in Vrindavan, in Gokul area, then Kaṁsa started sending all these demons to try to kill him, but Krishna killed them all. And by the way, in Garga Samhita, how did Kaṁsa get to control all these demons and then ask them, or they had to obey what he wanted them to do his bidding? Well, there was a fight from each one of them. Thank you for the message, dear Christopher. I saw it. So let's see what's going on now. Okay. I'll still go on. There's not much. It's going to be too confusing if I did something different. So let's go on. Anyway. So, Srila Prabhupada says, Vasudeva thinking to protect Krishna, because Deva is Krishna's father. He appeared. Vasudeva's thought of protecting Krishna from the wrath of Kaṁsa, the evil king, is actually part of a transcendental relationship. Why? It's only the Lord Lord himself is that way. How is he? He enjoys more when his pure devotee, someone, takes him as his subordinate son who needs protection of a father than he does when someone accepts him as the Supreme Lord. In other words, Krishna finds it more fun when his devotee is playing that role of, oh, I have to protect Krishna. He's my son. And Yogamaya has actually bewildered this particular person for good reason, not the reason that we go through. Mahamaya just makes us go crazy here on this earth. But for this just enjoyment of his pastime, according to the way Krishna wants things to unfold, he likes it more when his devotee plays the role of father. This is called a Vatsalya Ras. The person, the pure devotee, is actually playing the role of a father and seriously playing the role of a father. And Yogamaya has actually caused this person to think that Krishna is his son, and if he does not, he, the devotee, doesn't do all he can to protect Krishna, then Krishna might be killed by someone. Krishna cannot be killed by anyone. Everything, everything material and spiritual came from him. So the question of dying is not, it doesn't apply to Krishna. But when somebody plays the role of a father who's a pure devotee of a Lord and seriously thinks that I have to protect Krishna at all costs, and then Krishna just watches the fun, to see, he's the supreme personality of God. Now he's playing the role of a baby. And all these parents are so serious about protecting him. So the real position of Krishna is that he is the father. He is the father of everyone. He is the one that protects everyone. But when his devotee takes it for granted that the Lord is to be protected, the Lord himself is to be protected by the devotee's care. That is a transcendental joy for the Lord. He loves it when his devotees try to do something to help him out, just for fun. So when Vasudeva, out of fear of Kaṁsa, carried Krishna to Vrindavan, the Lord enjoyed it. In fact, some things even happened when he was going. The Jamuna River wanted to offer respects to Krishna, and so Krishna arranged to just fall off the basket that was the Vasudeva was carrying. It just fell off into the water. And Vasudeva, out of being fearful, had to just get Krishna. It was all in the middle of a night now, so like you could see so easily. It's all dark. Krishna falls into, but Vasudeva had to fish him out and get him out. But again, that was a pastime going on between Krishna and the Yamuna River. And the Yamuna River is an expansion of the Gopi called Vishaka. So this is all going on. But Krishna himself had no fear for Kaṁsa or anyone. Krishna doesn't fear anyone. As a matter of fact, it's not that Krishna fears him. He doesn't fear anyone, but it is the opposite. The opposite is that fear personified is afraid of Krishna. Fear personified is one that's afraid of Krishna. Not the other way around. Krishna is not afraid of anyone. Everyone came from him, so how can he be afraid of anyone? So the whole point here is that Kaṁsa had been vicious. He had been very vicious. So Vasudeva was afraid. But as I said, fear personified is actually afraid of Krishna. So there was no need to be afraid, but he didn't know. Vasudeva was just playing the role. Krishna is my child. 6 children have already been killed. The 7th one, we made arrangement. Vasudeva didn't make arrangement, but Yogamaya has made arrangement for the 7th one to go to Gokul, and now the 8th one too. I don't know. I have to get him out of here one way or the other. So then when Krishna says, take me to Gokul, and he made everything possible for Vasudeva to get out, he was more than happy to take Krishna to Gokul. Even Akrura was also sent later on when Krishna was about 11, almost 12 years old, when all the demons that had been sent to Vrindavan to try to kill Krishna had been killed by Krishna. Then finally, Kaṁsa thought, maybe if I get him on my home turf, meaning that if I get Krishna to come to Mathura and arrange for him to be killed, maybe that would be successful. So he told Akrura, who was also related to Krishna, but he summoned Akrura and told him, go get Krishna and bring him here. And Krishna was in Vrindavan at the time. He and Balaram was older, and here they were in having a great time with the devotees. The pure devotees, the gopis, the cowherd boys, and the cowherd girls, gopis and gopals. And Kaṁsa is dreaming day and night, I have to find a way to kill this Krishna. So he gets Akrura to go get, gives him his own nice chariot, gives Akrura the chariot. Akrura goes to Vrindavan, try to get Krishna and bring him to Mathura. Akrura was concerned. He did it, but he also knew that Kaṁsa wanted to kill Krishna. So again, just like another devotee is very concerned about the safety of Krishna, Akrura was also trying to arrange different ways to protect Krishna. And when he was taking Krishna, Balaram also decided to join. So Krishna and Balaram both got on the chariot. Now they were going to Kaṁsa, where Kaṁsa was the king, which is Mathura. Not very far away. It's a few miles, about 11 or 12 miles or so, according to what I'm told. So anyway, in the middle of the journey, he stops the chariot, which is Akrura stops the chariot, goes in the water to bathe, but also offers sincere prayers to the Lord, because Akrura doesn't realize still. They know they want to protect Krishna, but they're all in a little bewildered by the arrangement of Krishna through Yogamaya, that they don't realize that the supreme personality of God, the supreme controller of all that be, is actually Krishna, and his first expansion is Balaram. So nobody can defeat them. But Akrura was also concerned that Kaṁsa would try to kill Krishna. That was a plan of Kaṁsa. So he prayed. He prayed in the water. But then Krishna and Balaram proved to Akrura that they were the Supreme Lord in his first expansion. It's very simple. Krishna and Balaram were on the chariot. Akrura got down and got in the water. But when he was in the water, he saw Krishna and Balaram in the water. He saw a vision of them, but he saw a vision of them in the spiritual world and how they were being serenaded and all of that. And then he also looked at the chariot, and Krishna and Balaram were sitting on the chariot, but also in the water he could see that vision. So in one sense, finally, Akrura got it that you're dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead here. So then he could relax and take Krishna and Balaram to where Kaṁsa was in Mathura without fear that Krishna and Balaram would lose their lives. So the love of the devotees to the Lord and the trick that Yogamaya plays on the devotees to prevent them from realizing that they're dealing with the Supreme Lord, it makes the pastimes extra juicy and very enjoyable by the Lord. Because the devotees don't know that he's the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they go to the utmost. They make all types of plans to protect him. And Krishna absolutely loves it. Because it's like, oh, you don't know who I am, so you're just doing this and doing this and doing that out of love for me to protect me. The whole idea of a devotee living this life, even if Srila Prabhupada telling us conditioned souls, is to develop love of Godhead. And these devotees are pure devotees acting out their love to try to protect young Krishna. So the love of Godhead is very, very important for us. And what we need to do in order to develop love of Godhead, that is being explained to us by Srila Prabhupada. And of course, one of the wonderful saints who travels a lot, his name is Narada Muni. He's written some statements, one after another. It's almost like the best to relate to, or that comes to mind, is like a set of proverbs. In the Bible, there's proverbs, there's statements. They're all good for our growth. So these sutras from Narada Muni, Narada Bhakti Sutras, that are statements for involving us or better explanation to us about what bhakti and devotional service to the Lord is about. So today we'll do Sutra number 48. And Sutra 48, Ya Karma Palam Tyajati Karmani Sanyasati Tato Nirdvanvo Bhavati. The translation is, that person who renounces material duties and their profits and thus transcend duality, that person can cross beyond illusion. What's crossing beyond illusion? That is getting out of this material world. Material world is a place of illusion. Why do we say it's a place of illusion? It seems to promise that some things will do very well here, but actually it's beating us up the whole time. People think, those who are not God conscious, they think that they can solve everything. But actually things are getting worse and worse and worse. And people just, with a little intelligence, can open their eyes and realize that they're not getting anywhere. Even as people are trying to come up with new electronic gadgets, internationally, from country to country, there is dispute, there is unrest. And there's the Cold War, the race to come up with all kinds of weapons. What do weapons do? They kill people. How can a person be happy in this earth when the plans are being made for our extinction? That's enjoyment? So yeah, people think they're going to enjoy, but that's illusion. People work very hard. They make some money. They struggle in school to get a big degree. And then hopefully they'll get some good job that will get them money. Everybody thinks they can get a good job that will get them good money. But basically, it doesn't happen quite that way because destiny plays a role as to who gets a good job and who doesn't. So somebody with not such a great destiny can work very hard in school and still wind up with pennies as money. And still people think the world is wonderful. People are getting sick, they're getting fearful, they're getting depressed. Hmm? Other living entities are bothering us. And then other human beings decide to take things that doesn't even belong to them. We call them criminals. They're all here on this planet. Yet people think we're happy. Or we're going to try to be happy. Well, all of these years, it hasn't worked like that. What is the history of the earth? Wars and wars and wars and wars. It's marking what happened here a long time ago to now. But what does war do? War do? It kills people and makes people miserable. Even those who survive, they become miserable. So no, this is illusion. So to cross beyond illusion, that is going to the spiritual world. How do you do it? Nanda is explaining a person who renounces material duties in the prophets and transcends duality. The person who renounces, mentally they go, this material life isn't going to help me. Of course, it's still here in this material world. I have a material body. Therefore, I'm going to try to do the best that I can, but only taking those things from the material world as needed. I'm not going to just put my head into it and just be swimming in what the material world says that they can give me, because it gives me pain too. It never gives me happiness totally. It gives me distress, happiness and distress. In fact, most of the time what we're doing is trying to make things convenient for us. We're going against inconveniences by coming up with things that make it a little bit more convenient for us. We have cars and people buy expensive cars, and yeah, it's we can get from point A to point B rather than walking, so it's more convenient. People like it. People have to have cars, especially in this country. The average person can get a car, more so than even people in other countries. But what does a car do? Everybody forgets that once you start a car and it is going from wherever you started to where you want to go, in that period of time, at the back of the car, called the tailpipe, that car is spewing poison into the atmosphere. Now think about that. Every time that we get in our cars, we are polluting the earth. But we say we're happy and the car is helping us. Yes, it does. But it pollutes the earth. The second point is there's also an element of fear. Why? Because there's a tendency for people to make mistakes. And the mistake can cost us our lives. Or serious accident can cause us to be, very, very hurt, injured. But that's part of life. It's an advanced country. And so this is illusion that we're trying to point out here. If you think something is going to do well for you, that thing is giving you danger at any time. So you go to the spiritual world, there is no danger. There's happiness, and everything is provided. And that's where Krishna wants us to go. And that's where Srila Prabhupada is trying to get us to go. So, in the purport for this, the person who renounces material duties and their profits, transcending duality. Duality means the good and the bad. When you transcend that, then everything is good. The person who does that, they can cross beyond this material world, the world of illusion. So Srila Prabhupada says, the devotee has faith. The Lord Krishna would supply his need. But that does not mean, though, that he becomes lazy or inactive. He has to work, but then he works for Krishna. How? They dedicate all their activities to the Lord. And when you dedicate all your activities to the Lord, then you become free from the karmic reactions. Karma doesn't affect you anymore. And this is how devotees are supposed to live. Dedicate everything to the Lord, either directly or indirectly. If you work and your work is material totally, how do you dedicate that to the Lord? Well, when you work, you get paid. Take some of what you've been paid, the money that you've been paid, and donate it to the temple. So from the work, you got the money to donate part of to the temple. And the donation is a transcendental act. It's a spiritual act because you're giving it to the place where its business is 100% Krishna consciousness, Krishna activities. Therefore, the source where you got that money also becomes blessed. And this is how you spiritualize your work, even though what you do is actually material. So that's one way. And then, of course, there's the actual things that we've been told to do by the spiritual master, to hear, which we're doing today, hear from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, and to chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it does two things. The meaning is, dear Krishna, dear Radha, dear Krishna, please engage me in devotional service to you. So we do devotional service, serving at the temple and doing other activities like cooking and offering what we cook to the Lord first. Many, many things like worshiping Tulsi, the tree, the transcendental tree. All these activities are there, and they are all part of bhakti, devotional service to the Lord, and also serving devotees and serving the spiritual master. We become free from any karmic reactions when we do that. So devotional service is the way to go. So as long as one continues to work under the influence of the modes of material nature, then we'll experience duality, which is good and bad, hot and cold, rich and poor, pleasure and pain, and so on. But Krishna says, sign of Bharat, which means talking to Arjuna, all living entities are born into delusion. They are bewildered by the dualities arisen from desire and hate. So we also say many things in the material world, and we give labels to them. This is my country. This is my wife. This is my house. I am master of this house. I'm the husband of this wife. All of that. But those are all at the material level. They're not the real situation. The real situation is we are souls, each one of us, souls. The soul is not material. It is spiritual, and its home is in the spiritual world. So we're trying to get out of this place of delusion and going back, and we're trying to go back home. This is what Krishna consciousness is about. It purifies us so we become good people, and it also has specific things that we do, especially hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord in Kali Yuga. That is the main thing we do, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So how should we take the different yin and yang, the happiness and the stress that the material world throws at us? Well, Srila Prabhupada answers that question. He says, a devotee can break the bonds of duality while living in the material world. How? When a devotee feels bodily heat or cold, or pleasure and pain, he sees it in terms of the body. So in other words, he says, that's not me going through it, it's my body going through this. And my body is not me, I'm the soul. So with that, he uses his intelligence to go on performing his service without distraction. So the challenges are there that the material world throws at us, but we basically mentally ignore it and continue to perform our service. Until the time comes, the Lord will come for us at the point of death and take us back to the spiritual world where real enjoyment is there. And you don't have to put up with anything that is distressful. So Srila Prabhupada quotes one place from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and that's our statement of the day for us. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. This is Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, verse 17. One who neither rejoices nor grieves. In other words, some things that are, material is a wonderful thing, we say, okay, thank you, Krishna, for giving it to me. I'm not so attached. Or when grief comes, you don't worry about it so much because it's based on the body. A person who neither laments that I've lost this and what am I going to do and so on, or desires material things, because the greater our desires are for the material things, what happens? then we become very close to that very, very, very bad feelings of envy. The greater we desire things, the more we envy, because the person who may have the thing that we want and don't have yet then becomes the person that we begin to envy. I want so and so and so and so. Then you see somebody else has got it. I wish I was the one that got it. Then you begin to envy that. We begin to envy that person. So if we don't desire things materially, there's no reason to envy when other people have other things that are wonderful or so-called wonderful materially. But it doesn't bother us because we don't really desire it anyway. So a person who renounces auspicious and inauspicious things, basically all of this, because sometimes it's, why would somebody renounce or get away from a thing that's auspicious? We can understand renouncing inauspicious things, but what about auspicious? It all simply means one who is focused on serving the Lord, the spiritual master, and the devotees. That's all. The person is not saying this is auspicious, therefore I want it. This is inauspicious, therefore I don't want it. No, they are focused on serving. Serving the Supreme Personality of God. That all. Auspicious and inauspicious things will take care of themselves. But I chant my rounds, whatever is raining, whether it's raining or the most wonderful weather is outside, I chant my rounds anyway. In other words, good weather is not what causes me or motivates me to chant, and bad weather, I put my beads, then I don't want to chant. No. We chant whatever is going on, good or bad. So the person is focused. This is the way we're supposed to be. That's why auspicious and inauspicious things are renounced. We just staying on devotional service no matter what is happening, good or bad, around us. That's what Krishna, is explaining here in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text 17. So, in conclusion, we should be determined to serve the Lord and his devotees like it is life and death for us, life or death for us. We should have that kind of determination to serve Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Krishna's devotees means the spiritual master and everybody else. That's devoted to the Lord. We should be determined to serve them. They should feel like this person is helping me so much, like he's like a family member that loves me so much. We should serve so people feel that way about us. Second, and last point, trust completely in Krishna. If we give 100% trust in Krishna, that's what motivates him to protect us. When we give 100% trust in Krishna and do everything that he says to do, this is how you show your trust, then Krishna knows that we want to be in his corner. We want to go to him. We want to come to him. We want to relate to him. Then he's also motivated to help us because he says the extent to which we surrender to him, he rewards accordingly. So if we surrender completely, he will reward us completely. So it's on us what we do. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us the directions by his comments in Narada Bhakti Sutra. Today we've talked about one sutra. We will continue with the others by permission and mercy of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada in the days to come. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you very much for coming on to hear. And this is the time that you want to, you can unmute yourself and ask questions, any questions that you would want to. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Okay, hand is up. Okay, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Please step on the base and says all glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for wonderful class, wonderful points.
Krishna's mercy.
On the point of envy, how to recognize if somebody has or I have a, because if I'm having certain problem, I will not recognize myself. So how to recognize that I have envy, and how to, because usually the result of envy is fault finding and complaints, nothing else. So I'm just trying to understand how to understand I have this problem.
Mm. Okay. Thank you for the question, and also thank you, Sean. And I know you just put it some note in the chat that you have to go for it, but thank you for coming on this morning. This is his first time of joining the class. Envy. Mm. So, in one sense, when you were trying to formulate the question, you answered part of it because of how you feel. Mm, the words that you use to say how you feel, that actually is a sign that a person is envious. Envy usually just wells up. It starts, you feel something in your heart, and then the mind also kicks in. Oh, this person, and let me just explain a few things about envy that Bhakti Maharaj explained. It usually would rise up when there's something that we do that we are good at doing. We think that we are proficient at doing it. And then somebody else can do the same thing, but that person is being praised. Hmm? Maybe in assembly of devotees or wherever in the congregation. And you know that you can do that thing that that person is being praised for. You can also do it. But then you're being ignored and that person is being praised. That immediately brings up some jealousy in the mind. Hmm? So a person is a good singer, and then that person hears that someone else is a good singer, and then somebody's telling that person that's a good singer that this other person, I enjoyed how he sang so well, he did this and did this. It was a privilege to hear him singing, and he's going on praising him, praising him, praising the other person. And the mind says, man, I'm also a good singer. How come I'm not getting all that praise? Immediately, this is how it starts. This is how it starts. And when it's what to do, check it immediately. My dear mind, I don't need this problem. We are all suffering in the material world. So a person is talented, so what? So what? This is what Peter Maharaj says. What of it? What for? So what? They have it, so what? I have to do what I have to do in bhakti to get back to the spiritual world. Not compare myself to other people and their abilities here in the material world or how much wealth they have. Everybody is going to be destroyed and everything is going to be destroyed. This is a temporary place. So use the intelligence to tell the mind, this is a temporary place. Why am I envying something that's temporary? Even if they own 10 times more things than I have, guess what's going to happen? They're going to die and leave it. Is that a wonderful thing? If they stay longer, they're going to get old and won't even be able to use the things that they have so well. So basically, you do mana shiksha. You instruct the minds. My dear mind, there is no need to go after temporary things. Hmm? Yehi samspasa jaboga. It's like that. It's in chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita. The intelligent person doesn't go about things that are temporary because he knows there's a beginning and an end and they'll go away. He doesn't delight in them. That's why Krishna has said that. Mm. So we shouldn't do that. Adyantavanta konteya nate shiramate Buddha. The wise person doesn't go after temporary things. So remember, things are temporary in the material world. Temporary things will have an end. Whoever has that I don't have, they are going to lose it too because everything will come to an end. Therefore, I shouldn't waste my brain cells and my mind connecting with things that are temporary because it's unintelligent to put so much emotion behind temporary things. So if they have, so they have. They're going to lose it anyway. I need to chant and go back to Godhead because everything I gain in the spiritual world is permanent. That's the difference. Which there's better things in the spiritual world. There's no hassle, and it's permanent. So there's permanent happiness. There's permanent wealth. There's permanent knowledge. There's permanent everything. And permanent good relationships around me all of the time. So let me focus on going to that place than worry about somebody that has some material things that are more than what I have, and I want to have that too. You want to have something temporary so that it get destroyed? It's going to be destroyed either in your possession or in that other person's possession. So what's the point? Hmm? You should prepare to go home instead. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Very helpful, especially referring to Manasiksha by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami.
That's Goswami. Exactly.
Wonderful lessons there. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's why that book is there. It's wonderful. He says, my dear mind, Raghunath Das Goswami Manasiksha, my dear mind, focus on Radha and Krishna and their pastimes. That's where real happiness is. Not only is there real happiness, it's permanent. It's permanent. It's not temporary. Hmm? So if we connect to that, then we will in fact be pulled in as part of the lila, part of the pastimes. And then we'll be happy forever. No end. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? If not, then, well, let me apologize on behalf of technology. The things get hard to switch and I have to even finish this whole thing on the cell phone rather than my computer. So have a wonderful beginning of your week, and this is beginning of your weekday. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sundibhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I've seen electronic thank yous also. Have a wonderful day. Jai. Shri Ki Jai. Mm. Oh.